Some empires are forged with steel, others in the hush of family meetings, in the glow of private jets streaking above the equator, or in the rustle of billions moving through unseen ledgers. Welcome to Indonesia, not just a nation of islands, but of empires in disguise, of families who rule with quiet confidence and whose touch can shift markets, governments, and generations. These are not just families, they are kingdoms in civilian clothes, architects of invisible empires built on palm oil, tobacco, retail, energy, and steel. As you step into this grand gallery of fortune, each chapter unveils a carefully crafted dynasty, from low-profile industrialists operating behind fortified compounds to glamorous families rubbing shoulders with royalty and political elite. Let's dive into these families. Before we continue, please support our work by liking the video and subscribing to the channel for more valuable insights. 15. Lim Hariyanto Wijaja Sarwono family. Lim Hariyanto Wijaja Sarwono's tale begins in the post-colonial stirrings of Indonesia's resource-rich archipelago. The son of ethnic Chinese immigrants, Lim turned a modest trading company into a minerals empire by exploiting Indonesia's bountiful supply of nickel and bauxite. In the early 1980s, at a time when few Indonesian conglomerates dared venture aggressively into mining, Lim placed bold bets, investing in exploration and acquiring underperforming assets. He rebranded them with efficiency and an iron will, turning the Harita Group into a formidable player in the mining sector. As of 2025, the family's net worth is estimated at $4 billion. Harita Group is now a sprawling conglomerate with interests in mining, plantations, and smelting, particularly with its joint venture on Obi Island, a key strategic node in the global nickel supply chain, vital for electric vehicle batteries. The group's move into value-added downstream production has positioned them not just as resource exporters, but as critical components in the global green energy transition. Their operations stretch from deep-sea mining ports to high-tech smelters, where molten nickel is forged into the materials of tomorrow. Yet their wealth isn't buried underground. The Sarwono family is known for their serene but lavish lifestyle. Their properties span Jakarta, Singapore, and Hong Kong. Their art collection includes rare Indonesian batiks and Chinese antiquities that would make any Sotheby's curator blush. They're seen as discreet power brokers, often behind the scenes at elite business forums. Their 180-foot super yacht, the Nickel Queen, is a floating palace with interiors styled by Italian designer Achille Salvagni, and their private jet, a Gulfstream G700, rarely stays grounded. Theirs is a quiet opulence, cloaked in strategy. 14th Setiawan family. Born from the legacy of healthcare visionaries, the Setiawan family carved a reputation in an industry that not only builds wealth, but preserves life. The journey began with Dr. Benjamin Setiawan, a pharmacist who dared to dream beyond the apothecary's shelf. In the 1970s, he founded Kalbe Pharma, starting from a humble garage lab in Jakarta. With ambition brewed from science and shrewd business acumen, Kalbe Pharma grew into Indonesia's largest pharmaceutical company, innovating not just pills but healthcare systems. Today, the Setiawan family commands a net worth of $4.05 billion. Kalbe Pharma's portfolio spans generic drugs, consumer health, nutrition, and biotechnology. It also plays an active role in medical research and digital health platforms, aligning science with accessibility. The company's strategy hinges on vertical integration, from R&D to retail distribution, ensuring control and consistency across its supply chain. The Setiawans have also diversified into hospitals and diagnostics, creating an integrated ecosystem that serves tens of millions. Despite their health-conscious roots, their lifestyle is anything but modest. Their compound in South Jakarta resembles a modern wellness retreat, complete with botanical gardens and biometric security. They own an entire floor in a luxury condominium tower in Singapore, alongside vacation villas in Switzerland and Japan. Their philanthropic foundation donates millions annually toward cancer research and rural healthcare, while their private art gallery, tucked inside a modernist pavilion, features a mix of avant-garde Asian art and European masters. Their lives, like their legacy, blend intellect with indulgence. 13th Bakhtiar Karim family. Bakhtiar Karim's family legacy is soaked in the pungent gold of Southeast Asia, palm oil. From Sumatra's sweltering plantations to the corporate towers of Singapore, the Karim family story is one of expansion, endurance, and industrial alchemy. Their business roots trace back to the early 20th century, but it was Bakhtiar who sharpened the family's strategy in the late 1990s. By streamlining the operations of Musim Mas Group and focusing on vertical integration, from plantation to finished goods, the family turned a regional producer into one of the world's most efficient palm oil giants. With a net worth of $4.1 billion, Bakhtiar Karim and his family are synonymous with Indonesia's agribusiness boom. Musim Mas not only supplies household brands globally, but also invests heavily in renewable energy and sustainable practices, a strategic pivot that's won them favor in Western markets. The company's control of logistics, refining, and distribution gives it unmatched pricing power and resilience against global shocks. Their refineries are technological marvels where innovation meets industrial might. While their empire runs on crude palm oil, their lifestyle is refined beyond compare. Bakhtiar is known to favor classic British tailoring and Italian yachts, a man who blends boardroom precision with personal finesse. Their Singaporean mansion overlooks the Marina Bay Sands, and their art holdings include Southeast Asian masterpieces worth millions. A Rolls-Royce Phantom, a Bombardier Global 7500, and a collection of vintage Patek Philippe watches punctuate a lifestyle that whispers wealth with aristocratic calm. They live not as moguls, but monarchs of oil. 12. Joko Susanto family, in the dense urban tapestry of Jakarta, where high-rise silhouettes merge with vibrant markets. The story of Joko Susanto rises like a tale of destiny, whispered over late-night kopi stalls. Born to a modest family of Chinese-Indonesian heritage, Susanto's entrepreneurial odyssey began in a humble tobacco kiosk run by his father. In the volatile tide of Suharto-era regulation, Chinese surnames were changed, and Joko adapted, not only in name, but in strategy. What started as a small stall selling cigarettes and necessities evolved, by sheer grit and an uncanny business instinct, into one of the nation's most ubiquitous retail empires, Alfamart. Today, with an estimated net worth of $4.3 billion, Susanto has stamped his influence on nearly every urban and rural street corner, his name synonymous with everyday Indonesian life. The empire Joko built now spans over 15,000 retail stores under the Alfamart, Alfamidi, and Lawson banners, employing hundreds of thousands and shaping consumer behavior in real time. But beneath the convenience store glow lies a razor-sharp logistics network and data-driven inventory strategy that rivals global giants. He understood early on the Indonesian consumer's rhythm, stocking hyper-local goods while simultaneously modernizing the mom-and-pop, warung culture. His retail prowess extended to partnerships, franchise expansions, and even venturing into digital retail ecosystems. But it wasn't merely the stores. His diversification into distribution and property under PT Sumber Alvaria Trijaya was a masterstroke that fortified his position. With fortune came a quiet indulgence. Unlike flashier tycoons, Joko is known for his discretion, but insiders whisper of a stunning contemporary mansion nestled in South Jakarta, with Zen gardens and an art collection curated from around Asia. His car collection, reportedly including a limited edition Rolls-Royce Ghost and several custom Ferraris, reflects a refined, understated opulence. Vacationing in private villas in Bali and Hong Kong, his lifestyle mirrors the values of his retail success: access, elegance, and omnipresence. Joko Susanto remains a titan who understood that controlling the shelf was akin to controlling the street. 11. Yogi Hendra Atmaja family. If the scent of cloves and cardamom wafts across the archipelago, it likely trails from the legacy of Yogi Hendra Atmaja. His rise to Indonesia's elite was cooked, quite literally, in the kitchens of middle-class homes. With an estimated fortune of $4.4 billion, Atmaja presides over the Mayora Group, a food and beverage behemoth that turned humble biscuits and sachets of instant coffee into symbols of comfort and indulgence. Born in Jakarta in 1946, Atmaja transformed family values of hard work into corporate philosophy, launching his first factory in Tangerang in the late 1970s. Products like Kopiko candy, Energen cereal drinks, and Torabika coffee spread like wildfire across Asia and beyond, echoing Atmaja's unshakable belief: simplicity sells. What makes Mayora a titan is its uncanny ability to innovate within the familiar. Atmaja's empire thrived not only through shrewd marketing but by cultivating a supply chain so efficient it rivaled multinationals. As a private company, Mayora remained largely family-controlled, allowing Atmaja to steer the brand like a seasoned helmsman, unmoved by quarterly anxieties, fixated on legacy. The family has also built bridges across global markets, exporting to over 100 countries and winning taste buds across continents. It's a brand built not in boardrooms but in kitchens, dormitories, and break rooms, a brand that whispers familiarity and reliability across cultures. Their wealth, manifested in an Art Deco estate outside Jakarta, rumored to house a personal library of culinary literature and antique stoves, shows a taste for nostalgia paired with modernity. Private jets ferry the family from Singapore to Paris, and their hospitality portfolio includes private resorts in Ubud and Lombok, decorated with heirlooms from the spice trade. The Atmajas live as their products promise, comforting yet cosmopolitan, rooted yet global. Jogi's philosophy, feed the people, fuel the legacy, remains etched into Indonesia's consumer psyche. 10. Dewi Kam family. In the smoky backrooms of Jakarta's high finance and the remote oil fields of Kalimantan, a name that often commands whispers rather than shouts is Dewi Kam. Emerging from relative obscurity into the rarefied elite of Indonesia's wealth landscape, Dewi Kam has carved an empire rooted in energy and powered by a strategic mind as precise as a diamond blade. Her estimated net worth of $4.8 billion is the outward symbol of an extraordinary life, built not on inherited privilege, but on a sharp, solitary rise. Born into a modest business family, Kam's early exposure to Indonesia's fragmented utility sectors sparked a fascination with energy's potential to shape nations. In a male-dominated industry, she disrupted norms by negotiating long-term energy contracts with an unflinching poise that left corporate giants unprepared. Kam's empire today spans oil and gas exploration, geothermal projects, and green energy ventures. Her signature move was a daring consolidation of underperforming local energy firms into a powerhouse holding company, making her a central node in Indonesia's energy matrix. She's a boardroom tactician who favors precision over pomp, often relying on data analysts and scenario simulators to map market conditions. Her companies now power millions of homes, and Kam has quietly become one of the most influential players in Indonesia's long-term energy policy formation. Unlike flashier magnates, she channels her resources toward research facilities and think tanks, reshaping energy from a business into a national narrative. Behind her modest public image lies a world of hushed opulence. Kam owns a secluded hilltop estate in Bali, shrouded in tropical canopy, designed by world-renowned Japanese architect Tadao Ando. A Gulfstream G700 whispers through the skies when she travels, and her private art collection, rumored to include works by Yayoi Kusama and Banksy, is housed in a subterranean gallery beneath her home. Discretion is her luxury of choice, and yet the scale of her possessions quietly echoes her financial gravity. In a world of noise, Dewi Kam has built an empire of whispers that command the thunder. 9. Chairul Tanjung family. Few narratives in Indonesia's economic saga shine as brightly with sheer entrepreneurial flair as that of Chairul Tanjung. Born into a middle-class Betawi family in Jakarta, Chairul's early ambition was seeded in scarcity. He sold photocopiers and textbooks to survive university and launched his first company from a rented garage with only faith and frugality on his side. That seed would bloom into CT Corp, a sprawling conglomerate with arms in media, banking, retail, property, and aviation. Now commanding a net worth of $5.2 billion, Chairul's influence stretches across Indonesia's consumer and communication landscapes like a skyscraper shadow at sunset. Chairul's ascent wasn't fueled solely by profit, it was driven by vision. By acquiring stakes in crucial media outlets, Notably Trans TV and Trans 7, he became a tastemaker, a kingmaker, and a gatekeeper of Indonesian pop culture. He invested in Bank Mega during a financial crisis, revitalizing it through data-driven innovation and ethical lending. Meanwhile, his retail ventures like Transmart and Carrefour Indonesia revolutionized the middle-class shopping experience. But his boldest gambit may be his venture into aviation, with Trans Airways seeking to domesticate Indonesia's sky economy under his calculated command. Off the corporate stage, Chairul lives like a man who understands both elegance and legacy. His Jakarta mansion is an architectural marvel modeled on the Louvre's glass pyramid, with a private underground helipad and a vintage car vault rivaling European collections. A yacht christened Aurora CT is his floating palace, often spotted near Raja Ampat, equipped with a helipad and an underwater viewing room. His lifestyle exudes both aspiration and access, the personal reflection of a man who turned textbooks into billions and influence into immortality. 8. Tahir family. Dr. Tahir's story reads like a myth, penned with ink from both hardship and triumph. The son of a pedicab driver, Tahir earned his degree in medicine before deciding that saving lives at scale required capital, not just compassion. Pivoting into business, he founded Mayapada Group, which now spans banking, property, healthcare, and media, propelling his net worth to a formidable $5.3 billion. But unlike many tycoons whose legacies are etched in commerce alone, Tahir built his reputation equally in philanthropy, becoming Indonesia's closest answer to a Rockefeller. The core of Tahir's fortune stems from Mayapada Bank, which flourished during the Asian financial crisis due to his impeccable timing and resilience. He diversified rapidly, erecting malls, luxury hotels, and hospitals, many of which bear the Mayapada name as a beacon of stability and service. His sharp mind recognized early the synergy between financial services and public health, ensuring Mayapada could cater to Indonesia's rising middle class on every front. In a realm of aggressive expansionists, Tahir's strategy was guided not only by numbers, but by national service. Yet the grandeur of his life is anything but Spartan. Tahir owns a fleet of Bentleys and Rolls-Royces, and his Singapore residence, perched in Sentosa Cove, is a mansion of moonlit elegance. His prized yacht, Mayapada 1, is fitted with a grand piano, a private theatre, and quarters styled by Italian fashion house Fendi. Despite his opulence, it is his $100 million donation to the Global Fund and support for Indonesian education that dominate headlines. Tahir is a paradox, a billionaire whose wealth glitters, but whose legacy is written in lives uplifted. 7. Agus Prajogo Sasmito family. Behind the roar of heavy machinery and the thunderous echo of smelting furnaces lies the quiet mastery of Agus Prajogo Sasmito, a man who built an empire not by shouting over his rivals, but by understanding the pulse of Indonesia's industrial core. With an estimated net worth of $7 billion, Agus carved his domain from the very veins of the earth, capitalizing on the nation's growing hunger for raw materials and construction infrastructure. Born into a modest family, Agus displayed an early fascination with metals, an interest that led him to study metallurgy and later establish a trading company that would serve as the launchpad for his sprawling enterprise. As decades passed, his business grew beyond mere trading. He ventured deep into metals and mining, acquiring stakes in nickel, coal, and iron ore operations across Kalimantan and Sulawesi. What sets Agus apart is his acute timing. He has a knack for pivoting, just as markets are on the cusp of transformation. In the early 2000s, when global commodity prices surged, Agus's enterprises were uniquely positioned to ride the wave. He secured long-term contracts with state-owned firms and global clients, all while maintaining near-cloistered control over his boardroom. His strategy has always been simple: keep operations lean, invest heavily in technology, and stay invisible in public. But while Agus shuns the spotlight, his lifestyle is anything but subdued. His Jakarta residence, often whispered about in elite circles, is a marble and glass fortress nestled in the hills of Pondok Indah, adorned with museum-grade Indonesian art and Romanesque sculptures. He owns a fleet of bulletproof Bentleys, a 150-foot yacht moored off the coast of Bali, and an extensive collection of vintage watches that includes rare Patek Philippe's worth millions. Despite his outward restraint, his indulgences reflect the success of a man who mastered the art of forging empires from stone and steel. 6. Sri Prakash Lohia family. From the humblest beginnings in Kolkata to the gleaming boardrooms of Jakarta, Sri Prakash Lohia's journey is one of calculated vision, relentless adaptation, and astonishing success. Born in India, Lohia migrated to Indonesia in the late 1970s, joining his father in the textile yarn trade. What began as a small textile venture would eventually evolve into Indorama Corporation, a plastics and petrochemical colossus that now spans over 30 countries. His fortune, estimated at $8.7 billion, is built on his foresight to pivot into polyester and polyethylene terephthalate, PET, anticipating Asia's growing consumption of bottled beverages and synthetic fabrics. Lohia's empire is multifaceted. It ranges from fertilizer production in Nigeria to medical gloves in Thailand. However, the heart of his operations beats strongest in Indonesia, where Indorama's flagship factories churn out hundreds of thousands of tons of PET resins annually. He is known for his meticulous, almost mathematical business style, one where every move is calibrated, every risk hedged with layers of contingency. Lohia's success is a testament to his globalized mindset. While others were building locally, he cast his net worldwide, securing capital and technology partners from Germany, the UK, and Singapore. Despite his global business sprawl, Sri Prakash Lohia lives with the polish of a billionaire aesthete. His estate in Menteng is a palatial compound resembling a Mughal palace, replete with marble colonnades, Persian rugs, and a curated art collection featuring works by M.F. Hussain and Damien Hirst. He owns 2 Gulfstream jets which he uses for business and leisure, and is a patron of elite international clubs in London and Zurich. Known for his quiet demeanor, Lohia is the kind of tycoon who speaks softly but lives loudly through his empire's ever-growing global footprint. 5. Anthony Salim and family. In the annals of Indonesia's corporate history, few tales are as riveting as that of the Salim family, whose rise, fall, and resurrection resemble a Shakespearean drama played out on the economic stage. Anthony Salim, the scion of this illustrious lineage, now helms one of Indonesia's most diversified and influential conglomerates, the Salim Group, with an estimated net worth of $12.8 billion. The group's legacy began with his father, Sudono Salim, a migrant from Fujian, China, who built a fortune through flour milling, cement, and banking. But the 1997 Asian financial crisis brought the empire to its knees, wiping out billions and pushing the family to the brink of collapse. It was Anthony who, in the aftermath, orchestrated one of the most remarkable corporate turnarounds in Southeast Asia. Through careful restructuring, divestments, and partnerships, he revived Indofood, the group's flagship company, and expanded its reach to over 60 countries. Today, Salim Group has tentacles in palm oil, telecommunications, banking, and retail. Anthony's ability to maneuver complex financial landscapes, secure international funding, and manage political relations has earned him quiet reverence in both boardrooms and government offices. His philosophy, resilience, is the ultimate currency. In private, Anthony lives like a man reborn. His estate in Singapore is a glass-domed marvel overlooking Sentosa, filled with contemporary European art and lined with vintage Rolls-Royces. He frequently vacations aboard his $120 million super yacht, the Phoenix, and is known to host discreet but opulent gatherings of Asia's elite. His lifestyle, though not ostentatious in public, signals a man who has not just reclaimed his legacy, but elevated it into something far more enduring. 4. The Wijaja family. Like an ancient banyan tree, the Wijaja family's business roots run deep and wide across Indonesia's economic landscape. The family patriarch, Eka Cipta Wijaja, was a Chinese-born entrepreneur who started his career selling biscuits and soap before founding Sinar Mas, one of the country's most powerful conglomerates. Today, the Wijaja dynasty, led by his children, commands a business behemoth spanning pulp and paper, banking, property, and palm oil. Their collective net worth is estimated at $18.9 billion, making them one of the richest and most formidable business clans in Southeast Asia. Sinar Mas's influence is monumental. Asia Pulp and Paper, one of the group's flagship subsidiaries, is among the largest pulp and paper companies in the world, while their palm oil arm, Golden Agri Resources, is a global supplier. The family's banking interests, particularly through Bank Sinarmas, extend their reach into the financial bloodstream of the nation. The Wijajas are known for aggressive expansion, often pushing boundaries in pursuit of vertical integration and market control. Their strategy has not been without controversy. Environmental groups have frequently clashed with their pulp and palm operations, but their corporate resolve remains unshaken. At home, the Wijajas dwell in understated opulence. Their primary Jakarta residence is a sprawling neoclassical mansion with private helipads, indoor Zen gardens, and walls adorned with Ming Dynasty ceramics. They maintain a fleet of private jets for intercontinental travel and are rumored to own islands in the Riau archipelago used exclusively for family retreats. Their legacy is one of towering ambition and generational continuity, an empire forged in ink and oil, still expanding under the watchful eyes of the second and third generations. 3. Lo Tuck Kwong family. Lo Tuck Kwong's fortune was hewn from the very depths of the earth, where coal veins run like buried rivers of power across Kalimantan. The Singapore-born entrepreneur, now a naturalized Indonesian citizen, has built one of the largest coal empires in Asia through his company Bayan Resources. With an estimated net worth of $27 billion, Lo's story is one of grit, vision, and impeccable timing. He moved to Indonesia in the 1970s, seeing untapped potential in its vast mineral wealth. Starting with modest contracts, he soon began acquiring mining concessions that would later yield millions of tons of high-calorie coal. What sets Lo apart is his command of the entire value chain. From extraction to transportation and export, his vertically integrated model ensures maximum profitability and control. In recent years, as coal prices surged due to global energy crises, Bayan Resources reaped record profits and Lo's wealth ballooned. While coal has its critics, Lo has begun investing in renewable energy to future-proof his empire, partnering with Chinese firms to build solar panel factories and exploring green hydrogen technology. His strategic blend of old-world fuel dominance and new-age energy foresight makes him a fascinating case study in transitional capitalism. Lo lives in quiet luxury, preferring function over flamboyance. His Jakarta residence doubles as an executive retreat, complete with subterranean boardrooms and koi-filled Zen gardens. He owns a Gulfstream G650 and a private helipad in East Kalimantan, allowing him to inspect his mines firsthand. Despite his wealth, he remains low profile, rarely appearing at public events. His is a life of deliberate solitude, spent building, calculating, and expanding his dominion over the energy lifeblood of the archipelago. 2. Prajogo Pangestu family. Prajogo Pangestu's journey from a timber trader's assistant to a $32.5 billion petrochemical mogul is one of Indonesia's most legendary rags-to-riches stories. Born in a small village in Kalimantan, he migrated to Jakarta in the 1960s and began working for timber tycoon Bob Hassan. He later founded his own enterprise, Barito Pacific, and expanded into oil, gas, and chemicals. His crowning jewel, however, is Chandra Asri Petrochemical, the country's largest integrated petrochemical company, which supplies raw materials for plastics, automotive components, and packaging industries. Prajogo's business philosophy centers on bold expansion and vertical integration. He formed strategic alliances with global giants like Michelin and SCG, and under his leadership, Chandra Asri has become a linchpin in Indonesia's industrial ecosystem. During the COVID-19 pandemic, while many businesses shrank, Prajogo's companies pivoted to produce essential materials, strengthening their domestic grip and earning him national accolades. His empire continues to expand with multi-billion-dollar investments in new refineries and renewable initiatives, ensuring Prajogo's relevance for decades to come. Despite his enormous wealth, Prajogo maintains a private and measured lifestyle. His estate in South Jakarta is modeled after traditional Balinese architecture, and his private collection of rare tropical orchids is one of the most valuable in Asia. He owns a custom-built yacht for sailing across the Maluku Islands and is rumored to have one of the most exclusive wine cellars in the region. His persona is that of a modern-day tycoon with an artisan's soul, elegant, elusive, and perpetually in motion. One Budi and Michael Hartono family. At the very summit of Indonesian wealth stand Budi and Michael Hartono, heirs to a fortune as fragrant and complex as the clove-laced Kretek cigarettes that built their empire. With a combined net worth of $50.3 billion, the Hartono brothers preside over a diversified dominion that spans tobacco, banking, telecommunications, and property. Their family's legacy began in the 1950s with Jarum, a small cigarette company in Kudus. Under their stewardship, Jarum became one of the world's leading clove cigarette brands, a cultural icon in Indonesia, and a major export product. But it was their savvy acquisition of Bank Central Asia, BCA, during the financial crisis that truly catapulted the Hartonos into the stratosphere of wealth. BCA is now Southeast Asia's largest bank by market capitalization and the crown jewel of the Hartonos' holdings. They also control large stakes in e-commerce, infrastructure, and digital startups, ensuring that their empire is as future-proof as it is expansive. Their style is methodical, never rushed, always calculated, and their power, though quiet, is absolute across multiple sectors of the economy. The Hartono lifestyle is the epitome of discreet opulence. Their estates in Jakarta and Singapore feature cutting-edge architecture, underground art vaults, and private golf courses. They are avid collectors of classical Javanese antiquities and own a fleet of custom-made Maybachs. Despite their immense wealth, the brothers remain reclusive, rarely granting interviews or public appearances. They are the ultimate dynasts of modern Indonesia, monarchs not by crown, but by commerce, quietly ruling an empire built on cigarettes and sustained by strategy. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to like the video, share, and subscribe to the channel for more valuable insights.